Hello. Hey, Jose.
Hello.
There's nothing on the agenda today, but we had there was an incident today. Was that related to us, Yorick? Was that some code that we changed? You know?
Yeah, I read through it. From what I understand, with the refactoring a bit in some code to support multiple databases. As part of that, we had a method that would retrieve configurational settings for the database.
Mm-hmm.
And then we had a separate method that would disable prepared statements. That method that returns configuration settings was such that after the first call, it would just reuse its result from the previous calls. Because the method itself, it basically returned the same, it did the same thing over and over.
Mm-hmm.
But then the bug was that when we want to disable prepared statements, we would use this method and we would end up using a older and smaller database pool size because this result was now cached. So we would disable prepared statements and in addition, basically reduce the number of database connections that we had available. At least that's what I understand. And I mean, there was a really silly thing, like a method you look at and go, oh, yeah, you know, we can just reuse this. There's no reason it should fetch all this stuff every time. And apparently another method didn't expect that, basically.
Mm.
But it wasn't something our tests were catching or something that's actually even obvious just by looking at the code, I think.
Okay. It's since been fixed, right?
Yeah.
How's the benchmarking environment going, Jose?
Good. Like in this week, like we are finishing now the PG bouncer level. That's okay. I need to work with two more components like the JMeter instances, set up all of this, and the net data that will be our monitoring for to measure the tests. Then the environment is ready. Afterwards, I need to create as well with the infra team the playbook that will execute all the failover itself, or switching the traffic. Like what we're doing basically there is like we have two new PG bouncer nodes with the CI traffic, and we'll simulate stopping it and repointing to the new database briefly. So what we're doing, a good progress in my opinion.
Good. Just a really quick update. We didn't have an agenda. I was just asking a couple questions. So Camille running through the topics there. Does anybody else have anything they want to cover today?
The incident, is that caused by our MR?
Yeah.
Okay. That's about a PK migration or this sharding work?
Sharding work.
Okay.
No, first PK migration went through last night without a problem.
Okay.
We'll get the link to the incident here.
Yeah, I'm looking at the issue. I'm thinking what we can do in the future. We probably, my recommendation or my thinking is maybe when we make changes to production, because we are in soft PCL, we probably want to babysit it with the SREs together for a period of time. Just, having somebody available to troubleshoot if something goes wrong. I don't know if
Yeah, I
that
think
makes sense.
the challenge there is that it's not really predictable when something will be deployed. Like I was actually
I see.
surprised this already got deployed yesterday because I think it only got merged 2 days ago. And due to
Yeah,
the
Amy,
PCL,
Amy's going to
Sorry, go ahead.
follow up with you to make sure those things are known for this specific stuff.
right? Yeah, no, I am replying to some of the issues with some details there, but the challenge there is basically like once something is merged, it can be deployed, let's say 5 minutes later or 12 hours later, or right. So it's
Right. This is why
Bit
Amy
diff-
wants to follow up to make sure that, at least from a people process perspective, we can be more predictable. So she'll follow up with Craig and June
Mhm.
right.
just to align ducks and to, yeah, have a little bit more predictability.
No, but basically my point more is there, like if you have, say, like PCL not, as far as I understand, at least in our current state, we don't really have a way of saying, oh, we expect this to be deployed then, so please have these people be around. So I'm not sure how we would approach that long term, but we'll see.
Yeah, this
Right.
might
This
be a
is
good.
this is just a short-term thing, given the BCL and the instability and all that. So, like I said, I was talking to Amy this morning, and that's what she said, that she was going to gather some data and then follow up to see what options we had to make this more predictable and make sure that, you know, we're not having people waiting for 12 hours for this thing to go out, nor do we have another incident or no one available. So
Yeah,
I'll let
yeah.
Amy do the stuff she needs to do. But she did say she was going to follow up.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay. That's something maybe we want to bring up to the stand up today. Like if we can be more predictable when the thing is going to be deployed, we can help to babysit the deployment.
Right.
Yeah, during the soft PCR. I mean, once we lift the rock of the, lift the gate of the PCL, then probably it's hard to follow that, to practice the babysitting, but we'll try our best.
I don't know. The library has a habit of making magic. So
So the question is that, like, we're gonna be making changes that are potentially impacting like the fundamental behavior of the current application, and there is like always risk associated with things going sideways. So can we maybe ask the deliverer to look at, I don't know, group sharding or whatever label, and like proactively ask us when they will be deploying that? Because I think they already like look at the changes being deployed, and they already have a list of the issues and merge requests in the next auto deploy. So maybe, because like we're gonna be shipping changes in different periods, it's not gonna be that like we merge requests every day. It's rather like sometimes gonna be more, sometimes gonna be less. So maybe if they could really like take a close eye on this label and like say, hey, we're gonna be deploying, can you babysit with us for like this period of the deployment? Would it make sense like to have this request to deliver it? Because I think from our perspective, it's pretty hard to track exactly when the deployment happens, given all the PCLs that are happening. It's pretty known for them when they're gonna be deploying. So maybe it's also pretty easy for them to figure out that sharding work is of higher risk than the others. So maybe they can proactively ask us when they see the work coming in.
Mhm. Yeah.
I don't want to speak for Amy, but
Yeah, I'll sync up with her as soon as I can.
yeah. By the way, Camille, I found the stage in Epic for the repeatable stuff.
Yes, I think we had also something of that sort. I'm kind of like, I didn't manage yet to start finding that, but let me find it. we also have this. And this is probably like the closest item. We could probably put like more details into this item. And what would be the expectations for that? But I was thinking about like probably this item. We have some kind of overlap between these issues between this epic that you mentioned and like the one that we are tracking.
John, you want to verbalize number 4?
Yeah. I believe background, I talked to the product managers on from the ops, trying to prioritize the discover the issues there. There are 18 in ops, so quite a few, but they declined. So and then they proposed alternatives to have headcount reset to be a self-sufficient team. I had my opinion, but just to make sure this team is aware, and I wanted to hear your opinions so that this will be discussed in a stand-up today. So just want to collect some thoughts here. What do you think? This will, I know my answer, but I want to hear your opinions. No obligation. If you don't have any opinion either way, that's fine too. Okay.
I think the headcount reset, unless we steal 4 people from the verify, will not be effective to do it. So if it means like we steal 4 people that will have the same impact on the verify work, then like asking them to do it, but also increase the, I guess, management overhead from our side, it will not be super effective in this case. And the same probably applies for all other work that we are finding out. We kind of gonna steal 2 secure engineers, or do we steal 1 engineer from the run create? So we kind of end up probably with sibling decomposition fixing feature team of, I don't know, 6 to 8 people on fixing that. I'm not sure if this is feasible. So it can be quite complex to actually like to execute and follow up. That's my opinion.
I agree with you, Camille, for what it's worth. I think a headcount reset is overly complicated and will take a long time and will delay the onboarding of developers actually using this fundamental change or getting used to this fundamental change that we're making to GitLab. So I think it should just be embedded within the teams as they are.
I'm kind of like thinking truly that like the work that we have there, it should probably occupy them for, I don't know, 2 milestones, majority of that stuff.
Yep.
So it's very like a short roadblock, and headcount reset has like much bigger repercussions overall for the longevity. So I think the problem is the quantity, because there is like a lot of small things to do. But if you look at these issues and you join them conceptually together, there is like probably 3 different patterns to solve out of that. We're gonna have more of them over time, but that's probably like my sentiment about these issues today. I'm kind of thinking that secure actually has much harder problem to solve than verify, except, I mean, the problem for verify to solve is queuing, which is like big problem, but all the other items are actually like pretty small ones that you apply the same pattern for each of them. It's just there is many of these small things to fix.
Thank you. Thank you. That helps me. That's it about the meeting today.
Yep.